Good morning from beautiful, almost sunny Vancouver Island. My heart certainly goes out to people in the Okanagan right now who are struggling with wildfires. Actually, they're kind of everywhere. And, I just feel like we can send them rain prayers. That would be amazing because I know it's a scary time for them. On that note, today, I really wanted to chat about connecting, being connected, feeling connected, or more importantly, disconnected. So I find more and more people are feeling an overwhelming sense of disconnect, or maybe feeling alone or untethered, where just something just is off kilter, not quite right. They're waking up in the morning going, I can't quite figure out, something just doesn't feel quite right. And this feeling of disconnect is really common, really, unfortunately, a way that our world is right now is, even though we're super connected with technology, we're actually super disconnected with self and with others. So this piece of the puzzle for anyone who's on a path of growth, whether it's spiritual growth or personal growth or whatever you want to call it, the foundation is connection with self. And if we don't have a connection with self, everything will become slightly out of alignment in every area of life. So some really common examples of what it looks like to be disconnected: a busy mind that you can't control. I know we all kind of have busy minds because we have busy lives. It's when you cross that threshold between, and you're no longer in control of your mind. That is a really common example of being very disconnected from self. The inability to be alone, where you always have to be surrounded by someone or something, or noise or Netflix or something along that line, is another really common example of being disconnected from self. Compromising your boundaries. Being addicted to busy and to-do lists are a very common one. And again, there's a difference between crossing the threshold of recognizing when you've got a lot that's on your plate and you are a slave to your to-do list, or a slave to being busy. I like to call it addicted to being busy. People pleasing is another really common way to be disconnected from self. And I'm going to take that one step further and talk about being disconnected from source in a second here. Staying in or with unhealthy relationships, ones that you know are not serving you, ones that you know are unhealthy, but feeling an overwhelming need to stay there for whatever reason, is another really powerful example of a disconnection from self. Not taking care of your physical self is another example. And living from a place of fear, like all different kinds of fears, whether it's a fear of outhouses or fear of loss, a fear of lack, a fear of failure, a fear of judgment, whatever the fears might be, when they're kind of, again, fears that you do not have control over, it's another really powerful example of being disconnected from self. So if we take that one step further and we talk about connection to source, first of all, I'm going to start by saying source is whatever it is for you. You can call it whatever you want. Some people call it nature. Some people call it universal energy. Some people call it God. Some people call it Buddha. You can call it whatever you want to call it. That doesn't matter. What matters is how connected you are to that vital life force energy. So the two foundational pieces to being and feeling connected, which changes everything in your life, every area of your life, is connection to self and connection to source. And the more you get aligned with those two pieces, the more connected you will become to yourself, your voice, your mission, your passion, your future, your successes, your ego. And that's a whole other conversation, because ego is actually something that can work with you and for you when you're really connected to understanding what your egoic character traits are, when you need them, when you don't need them, and all that kind of good stuff. So that whole piece about connection to self, if you can just imagine, you take any example, I'm going to just say how you show up at work. The more disconnected you are, the more inauthentically you will show up at work. And I don't mean that you are being inauthentic. You actually are not capable of connecting with the authentic you. You're not actually able to show up at work and feel centered, to trust that you will be okay, to be able to speak, use your voice, say what needs to be said from a place of kindness. Is it necessary? Is it kind? And is it honest? Your ability to include people, your ability to stop gossiping, all those kinds of things. That's just a really simple example of what happens when we show up fully, authentically connected and centered to self. And this is just a wild thing that's going on in the world right now, this massive disconnection. And like I said, it's really quite ironic because the world is so connected and so disconnected. So the challenge I present for you to consider is, where are you feeling most disconnected in your life? So we've got basically 8 areas of life that we play in. And I like to do this exercise where we basically put a number on how connected we are to, maybe it's our values, but in this case, it's going to be to self. So is it career? Is it money? Is it physical well-being? Is it relationships, personal relationships, family relationships? Is it financial stability? Is it fun and adventure? Whatever the 8 areas are, it would be really amazing for you to sit down and give yourself a number from 1 to 10, and being really, really honest, how connected are you to yourself and to source in each one of those areas of life? As soon as you start dialing that in, so if you're feeling like you're a 4, and as you work slowly to make that a 5 and a 6, you will notice that everything starts to change around you. The more connected you are to yourself, the more you're going to use your voice, and the more you're going to fall into trust with yourself. So connection is basically the foundation of everything that I do and all the work that I do. It's connecting people to each other. It's connecting people to the right communities. It's connecting people to the right information. It's connecting people to self. It's connecting people to their voice, to their potential, to their possibility, to their desired reality. I love to say that previous to this, and why do I know this all? Because I've been through this all. And I'm a lifelong student of transformation. And I love to say that at one point, years ago, I had a beautifully mediocre life with little passion and little direction, because I was super disconnected to myself. I was so busy making sure that everyone else was taken care of, and that, God forbid, anyone would think something negative about me, or God forbid I wasn't taking care of every single human being that crossed my path, or whatever it happens to be. And it was all at the expense of self. I had little to no boundaries. And that came at a heavy price. So the more I learned to say no, you can say it with a thank you after if you want to, it's actually very liberating and very, very liberating to say, nope, thank you though. And that is a beautiful example of reconnecting with self. So if anyone is really connecting with this conversation and you want to dig deeper, reach out to me. I'm easy to find. You can contact me through my link tree in my bio, or you can just direct message me and let me know what your thoughts are. If you are one of those people that I'm speaking directly to that's feeling a little lost, a little untethered, a little disconnected, a little bit alone, because you're not alone. There are a lot of people feeling the exact same way. And as women, I don't know if there's any men watching right now, but as women, we are almost born into the role of making sure that we take care of everyone and everything first before ourselves. And it comes at a heavy price. And here's the thing is, when we start to move ourselves up the priority list, we become more self-aware, not more selfish, more self-aware, especially when we're doing it from a place of intention. as opposed to selfishness. Intention being, I intend to do everything that I can today to love myself in a way that only I can do. That would be an intention. Then everything that you do throughout the day falls under that intention. And that drives you up your priority list and automatically centers you and brings you a deeper connection to self and to source. So if you want to continue this conversation, I would be honored to have it with you. We'll explore where you're disconnected and what the next step is for you to reconnect. So reach out to me. You can do it through Linktree, you can do it through a direct message, or you can re-listen to this if you missed the beginning of it. So have a great Tuesday. It's actually Monday here where I am if you're not in Canada, BC, because it was a holiday yesterday, BC days. So have a great day and maybe use this little piece of information to guide you this week and to bring you a deeper sense of connection with yourself and with your source. Have a great day.